Welcome back to From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. I am so excited that you're here for our second part of our vision series. Thank you for your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, for sharing this with your friends and family and people you care about. I feel your love and your support, and I am so grateful for it. Thank you so much. Last week, we talked about what a vision is and why you even need one. Now that I've told you on that, we're going to jump and dive makes jive. We're going to dive into part 2 of how to craft your vision. I ended last week talking about believing that it's possible. There are two kinds of mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is this is how it is, no exceptions, blah, blah, blah. It's boring, it's stagnant, it's fixed, right? A growth mindset means, okay, all things are possible. Somebody somewhere is living a life like I want to live or has aspects of living a life like I want. And because someone somewhere is doing that, that means it's a possibility. That means that I can figure it out. That means that I can have it. I will grow to be that person, to have that thing, that experience, whatever it is. It's knowing that you can develop yourself, grow, improve, learn, whatever it is you need in order to get what you want. Having a growth mindset is critical. It's not optional. If you don't believe in yourself and in the limitless possibilities, you are screwed. This might be a belief you need to work on. That's okay. Work on it. Do the work. Go back to the second episode on rewriting your beliefs and rewrite whatever it is that's holding you back. Because it really is critical. It's absolutely critical. You can't create a vision and have it have any sort of power for you without believing in yourself and believing that it's possible. So I presented to you last week the metaphor of living your life, or the metaphor of a house as your life. And you build this house and you get to choose anything that goes in it. You get to choose what rooms you have. You get to choose what each of the rooms look like, what's in them. And these are the areas of your life, right? This is the metaphor I presented to you. And I want to challenge you to take this to heart. I told you you could build it any way you want to. I need you to internalize this. You get to have your house, your life, any way you want it. Right now, forget realistic, forget what you think is possible, and move forward with the belief that it's possible. Early last year, at some point, when it dawned on me that we would only have 10 summers left with my two kids together living in the house, with the assumption that my oldest moves out at 18. It dawned on me we only had 10 summers left, and I turned to my husband and I said, Jake, we can only count on these 10 summers. What is it that we want to do? And that was a big turning point. I'm on a roll with words today. This is perfect for a podcast. This was a big turning point because I realized I wanted to take our girls to Europe. I wanted to do a month-long Europe trip. Month-long. I wanted to take them to 4 countries. And if you ask either of them, I was going to say any of them like I have more than 2. If you ask either of them where we are going to go in Europe, they will tell you because we have talked about it enough. But when we had this conversation, my husband and I said, what do you want to do? We decided that we wanted to take them to Europe. And at the time, and even now, a month-long trip to Europe is not possible. If you said, okay, great, you can go this June, we'd be like, well, actually, we can't because, I mean, we don't have money for a month-long trip and he has to work and I have to work. And like, that's just not possible at the moment. However, when we were having this discussion, I was like, okay, look, we have to look at this like we can figure it out. We have to look at this like it's a possibility, or else if we shut this down now, we will never take our daughters to Europe. And so we did. We looked at it and we were like, okay, we're going to assume that we'll save the money for this month long trip. And then he remembered that for every 7 years he spends at his company, he gets a month-long sabbatical. And then the date was set for the year, really. It was like, perfect. Your month 7, we have a month, and he gets a stipend. So now we have at least a little bit of money to go on that month-long trip. And sure, we still don't have all of the things figured out. However, we decided that it was possible, and it's up here on the board. If you are listening consistently and watching consistently, I have this vision board that I'm creating behind me. Our trips are over here on these cards. And at the end, closest to my desk, is our Europe trip. And there's an individual card for each of the countries we are going to visit. And our girls are very excited about it. And we are very excited about it. And that is a vision we have set for our family. Even though it looks impossible right now, we have decided that it will be inevitable. You have to decide that whatever it is that you want in your life, however it is that you want to live, whoever it is that you want to be, whatever experiences that you want, you have to decide that it is possible, that you will figure it out. You have to decide that right now because it's critical. It's not optional. Whatever it is that you want, you have to decide that it is possible. Forget realistic, forget probabilities, forget all of that. A vision is big. A vision is kind of outlandish. It's kind of bananas. It's also kind of vulnerable. It's also kind of scary. It's scary to admit to others. It's scary to tell others, yeah, I've got this big goal and this is what I want to do. Because we're scared of other people's judgment. Now, you and I, we both need to get over that fear of judgment if we want to live any sort of big lives. Because it's dumb. People are going to judge you regardless. I have been saying this for a couple of years now. People are going to judge regardless. If you go big and go for it, they're going to judge you. If you sit at home and eat potato chips, they're going to judge you. And that's a foregone conclusion. People are going to judge you. And then here's the other thing about people judging you. Their judgments are just a reflection of how they feel on themselves. If you go big and go for it and people judge you negatively, it's because they are disappointed in themselves for not going big and going for it. If you are sitting on the couch eating potato chips and they judge you, there is something in their life that is the equivalent of sitting on the couch and eating potato chips that they don't like about themselves. So they're going to judge regardless, and it's not even about you. When you have a fear of judgment, remind yourself of those two things. I do that all the live long day because that's something that I'm dealing with right now as I step out and be a more public person. I'm dealing with my own fear of judgment. All right, that was kind of a tangent. So get over that. Get to what you truly, truly desire for your life, for how you want to live, for how you want to be. Now, your vision doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be Europe. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that it's important to you. It matters that you connect to it emotionally. It matters that is what you truly, truly want. That's what matters. Now, if you're like, oh my goodness, Megan, I have no idea what I want. Like, I couldn't even pick dinner tonight. I have no idea. Don't feel bad about that. We are kind of socially conditioned to not know what we want. Now, imagine you're a little kid and you're at the store with your parent. You ask for stuff and you ask for stuff and you ask for stuff. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. And they tell you no so many times that eventually you stop asking. And then eventually you stop registering that that what you want is even a possibility for you. You stop thinking about that as something that you can have because you've been told so many times. You've been told no so many times. And then eventually you stop even noticing that you want that thing because you've been told no so many times. That seems heavy. It feels heavy. I don't love it. But that's kind of what happens. We get told no so much that we stop asking. We stop believing we can have it. And then we stop even acknowledging what it is that we want. I don't know about for you, but for me, it just got real quiet and the energy just plummeted when I think about that because it's really sad. Luckily, we're adults and we can change that. We can change this conditioning that we have. We can get back to acknowledging, giving ourselves permission to acknowledge what it is that we want. I love this phrase. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's like, okay, you don't know what you want, but what if you did know what you wanted? What would that look like? It's kind of the same question, but it has a little spin on it because it takes the pressure off. Because it's like, okay, if I did know what I wanted, what would that be? If I did know what I wanted for dinner, it would be sushi. Actually, that does kind of sound good. If I did know what I wanted, what would that be? As always, I'm going to bring you two questions that you need to think about because I know, not I feel, I know that as you ask yourself powerful questions, you will receive powerful answers and powerful insights. And this will help guide you on your personal development path. In order to personally develop, you have to know what it is you want in your life and who you want to even be. It goes that deep. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? One of the most powerful questions I was ever asked was, at your funeral, what do you want people to say about you? That's a deep question. We don't have to go funeral, but I have some questions for you to help you get back to the roots of what it is that you want in your life, what it is that you want to create. Okay, before society kicked you down and said, no, you can't have that, that's not for you, which are all lies. You don't have to believe those lies. What is it that you truly want? So I've got three good questions for you. The first one is, if nothing was bad or wrong, what would you want? If whatever it was, no one in the world considered it bad or wrong, what would you want? If there were no negative consequences and no one would be mad at you, what would you want? The third one is, if you had access to a genie in a bottle and unlimited wishes, what would you ask for? We often get hung up on the fear, the judgment of others, of wanting something quote unquote bad, or feeling like what we want is wrong. Who am I to have this? Or there are starving children in Africa. Why should I do this? Yes. And when you are living your most actualized life, your most realized life, your most expansive life, you have so much more power to help those who are in less fortunate circumstances than you. Just because you refuse a sandwich today that's handed to you doesn't mean that it goes to feeding someone else. You're just starving alongside with them. That doesn't make you a more noble person. It makes you kind of silly, because as you fill yourself up, you have so much more to give to others. People feel like this is really selfish sometimes. Like, you have this great big grand vision and it's so selfish. How could you want all of that for yourself? But they don't understand that when you are who you want to be, you will have the power and the ability and the time and the bandwidth to do so much more good in the world. Does that make sense? So that's why these questions of if nothing were bad or wrong, if no one would be mad at you, that's why these questions have those conditions on them, because we have to break out of feeling like what we want is bad or wrong, or feeling like what we want is going to have some sort of negative impact, some sort of negative consequence. We need to get out of that, because we are good people and we want to do the right thing, I'm assuming. I know that with all of my intentions, I want to do the right thing. And unless you want to screw someone over deliberately, I'm guessing that whatever it is that you want for your life, for your family's life, whoever it is that you want to be, I'm under the assumption that you are going to go out and do good with whatever it is that you want to create. People could say, oh, that's so selfish. She has a podcast and her face is on the image. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to build people here. I'm trying to help people get out of ruts, get out of stuck mindsets, get out of fixed mindsets, get out of maybe even depression. I was at a point last year where one of my very favorite audiobooks, it's called You Are a Badass. It's by Jen Sincero. I listened to that audiobook on repeat because it helped me. It was helping me get out of my depression, out of my funk, out of my terribleness that was weighing me down. Now, what if Jen Sincero never wrote that book? What if she never became the author she wanted to be? She wouldn't have changed my life. Maybe somebody else would have, but it wouldn't have been her. And what's wrong with it being her? I am so grateful for that book, because now I am standing here with you today. So whatever it is that you want, know that it's going to benefit others. Be under the assumption that it'll benefit others. Okay? So when you craft this vision, you can go all vision board. I recommend you go all vision board, because then it's in your face. Then you see it. Then it's like, hey, remember me? You wanted this. You wanted this? Let's go do it. I recommend that it's in your face. You should also create a mental scene, a place you can go to. I have a very, very specific place that I go to when I am needing to make decisions. And we'll get into this more in our third part, but I have a very specific space that I go to that is the epitome of my vision. You need a place that you can go to mentally, so that when you're not at your vision board, you can carry your vision with you everywhere you go, and it can impact you everywhere you go. So the important things that you need when you're crafting your vision is you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in the limitlessness of the world. You need to believe in all the possibilities. You need to acknowledge what it is you actually want for your life. What you want to experience, what you want to do, who you want to be. Let yourself acknowledge what it is that you want. And then start to build up pictures, real physical pictures that you can put on a wall, and mental pictures that you can go to that really sum up your whole vision for you so that it can be the powerful force that you need it to be. As always, I believe in you. It might feel impossible. It will feel inevitable. I promise you. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.